tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey. Oh, I just need him. Oh. Need the help of the Lord.
Help her.
What's up, everybody? You are tuning in, as usual, to the Preachers of L.A. After Show. I am your host, Lem Gonsalves, always here, present and accounted for. Of course, I got my sisters in Zion with me.
In Zion. We're in Zion tonight, y'all.
Hey, we just blessed her. We give it a praise. Man, y'all give it up for Corrinne Williams.
Woo woo, what's up, y'all?
And of course, we have Tiffany Williams with us as well.
Yo.
So, man, I think this is one of my favorite episodes. That we've had so far. Yeah, this was a really good, and I say that because there was a lot that went on. There was a lot of pivotal moments. There was a lot of coming together with a lot of our couples and their family situations. Noel and Loretta, there was a coming to head right there. There was a moment.
They didn't come together necessarily.
Well, yeah, we're gonna get into that. But do you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? It was like some truths, like the whole situation with Maisha and Wayne and the family. There was a kind of coming together as well. Come on, work with me. Don't look at me like
It was a
Corrine.
great
Corrine,
episode.
stop hating. Stop hating.
The last time we sat together, it wasn't so good for
Right. You know?
I'm quiet.
Yeah.
I'm meek.
Right. Oh,
Look at the Lord working through me.
Right. So anyway, we just mentioned Maisha and Wayne, the Cheneys. This was an interesting and again pivotal episode with them. Last, of course, episode we saw some situations going on with his mom and his brother. And everything that was going on within the mom started staying with them. And of course, Maisha was, she loves her mother-in-law, she said in the episode, but she is queen of her castle, like any woman would be. And so, there's some, she wants it to get back to normal. They have children, all of that going on. And of course, Wayne just wants his mom to be safe, away from harm. Of course, the brother gets introduced. We see him again. Wayne
with another brother.
Yeah, exactly.
With Dietrich.
Exactly. And there's a confrontation kind of in the sense where Wayne kind of, had to kind of loke up a little bit. What do you think about that?
I loved Maisha having the conversation because, by the way, she had stayed with them. The mother had stayed with them for 3 weeks. Like, how long is too long?
Right.
And it's funny because
a day.
Men
that's your meal, your mother-in-law.
But men have a way of not addressing things.
Right.
Of course.
So I feel like he would have wrote it out as long as she wanted to stay there.
Well, do you remember when he asked the question, he's like, how, let's get some parameters here. Like, what if she stayed another week? She's like, oh, okay. He said, what if she stayed for a year? Like, or whatever. Yeah. 6,000, and she was just like, she was trying to see. But of course, like you said, that's his mother. Right. And I think if it was her mother, I think it would have been the same situation.
But I agree. I don't know, but 6 months is a long time.
It is a long time. It is a long
3
time.
weeks is a long time.
Because it's like what are you not dealing with?
Right.
During that time period.
Right.
And so what's her name? Denise.
Yes.
She needed some closure. She needed a place to clear her head.
Right.
And then so Maisha's point was that Wayne never took time to deal with Caleb properly.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even when we saw them working with each other early on, they just kind of had a massive beef from the beginning because Wayne sided with his mom, which is natural.
Right.
So I was surprised to see Caleb act that way towards Wayne when he finally did confront him at the studio.
And I think we
Not at
found,
all.
and I agree with you. I wasn't really surprised because I think I knew he was going to be defensive about it. But what I did find out is, because remember, this all happened initially at the party when they were at the party. You know, his mom was there. He just kind of crashed the party. Wasn't invited. So that's one thing. Your brother's not invited to your party. What's going on? We find out later that there's some kind of animosity there, and the brother kind of brought up a point. He's like, "You're not around," you know, and the other brother was there and was saying the same thing. Like, you don't know what's going on because you're not here.
No, his words were, "You don't know mom like we know mom."
Right.
So in my mind, I was just thinking that clearly there's tension. You could see it.
Right.
Even when they had their coming together moment, it still was awkward, in my opinion, to watch. Because I'm just like, first of all,
You're talking about when they were all talking, the three of them talking?
when they were all talking, and then when so I'll just start there. When they were all talking, I was just like, well, this is really, it was awkward to watch because it didn't really feel, of course he was coming there to, address an issue, but it just didn't feel like there was that underlying sense of love that you would have, with your siblings, even if you guys were, in a heated argument about, one of your parents.
Right.
So I was just like, I really want to know where the real issue stems from. Is it because they feel that he's not around? Is it because the mother favors him more?
I feel like there's a lot of sibling jealousy happening.
Absolutely.
Like, even in the things that he says, like you're her favorite.
Right.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Well, do you notice he kept referring to her as my mom?
Right.
Like this, they share their mother. Their dads are different, but the mother is the same. And he kept saying my. And then you notice Caleb was like, "Yeah, you're a mom."
You're a mom.
Like he was making reference. Like, why would you? If I'm talking with my siblings, we say mom. Because obviously we share the mother. But to say my mom, he's automatically separating himself just with that statement. So how long has that been going on?
Since forever, clearly, because he was far too comfortable with saying that, and he kept on saying it. And another issue that I didn't like was, and I know that testosterone was being thrown around when Pastor Cheney was like, "Oh, are you high right now?"
Right.
I was like, "Oh, you tried
What
it.
did he say?
You did not have to say that to your brother in this nice argument right now. Like you throwing blows."
But obviously he knows his brother, so it probably is not out of the question.
No,
to
and I don't think it was out of the question, but I think it was I don't think it was in that moment. It wasn't cool to say.
No, he didn't need to say that.
Well, that was very passive aggressive.
Pastor Cheney.
I think it just dealt with a lot of animosity that's been going on for years. Like this is, and the whole mother situation, her coming to Wayne was just a way of like, okay, let me intervene, let me see what's going on. Well, there's been tension and there's been stuff going on between them for a long time.
Yeah.
He's just now aware of it because he's coming to that situation.
I just feel like he is his mother's go-to person. I think that's very obvious.
Sure.
And really what they need to do is seek outside help because of course he's going to have a biased opinion because that's his mommy.
Right.
I just want to know what the heck happened. Like, what are they fighting for? 'Cause
Why?
that's
You mean
such
why
a-
they even got into it?
Yeah, what is
Exactly.
it stemming from to make your mom move out for a month because she's afraid of her
you.
son?
Right.
And the son is in your house.
Exactly, and none of their stories add up. Like, they couldn't be more opposite.
Well, I'm going to say this. At first, when they were talking and at the party a couple episodes ago, and, it came up, he was saying, what his mother said, because the mother came to Wayne first, right?
Yeah.
And gave the whole story, and he's like, oh, okay. And then the brother shows up at the party. The brother says, oh, yeah, that's completely opposite. So you're like, okay, what would he believe? Well, you're thinking like, oh, the mom has to be right, and da-da-da-da. But in the situation, when she was saying again, he's like, that's completely wrong. I believe Caleb.
I'm
Me
starting
too.
to
I believe
believe
Caleb.
too.
I believe
Me
Caleb
too.
because the way he was saying it, it was making sense because we were saying even then was like something's up with the mom.
Yeah.
Like there's something about the mom, the fact that like, okay, you got to move out of the house. Like it just seemed kind of shade tree a little bit.
Very.
And so the fact that now seeing him in his element, he's there, Wayne's coming to him. So he's in his comfortable element at the studio and Wayne's kind of throwing jabs at him and he's telling him, he's like, look, you don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not around. And then when they say, like, she's lying, like, even when she was saying, and they were having their
Even
come to
Dietrich
head
was
moment,
shaking
okay.
his head like,
Right. But when they were having that come to head moment, when it was the three of them, and she was just like, you did this. And he was, of course, it was a solemn time.
Yes.
But he was like, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
And I really believed him because for me, at that moment, why would he lie?
Why would he lie?
Why would he lie?
And then why would he make himself that vulnerable on TV?
Exactly.
But they both did. Like, she was quite vulnerable as well.
She only started crying when he said, "I don't feel like I have a mother."
Right.
Like slapping your face.
According to him, she told him, "I wish I never had you."
Because she probably said it. No child is going to make that
up. Or whoever's kicking down doors.
Exactly.
I just can't, like, even in your own personal life, you know, your parents have said things that, you know, have rubbed you and affected you,
right.
you know, not taken away from them being, you know, great parents.
Right.
However, it happens. And sometimes they draw a blank or they just black it out. Mm-hmm. You know, I never said that. Lies you tell. Yes, you did. And I'm still hurt. Apologize.
Right. And again, to me, the way in the conviction that he said it, it just, I believed him because he's like, you don't say that just out of like, pull that out of thin air. Yes. You're not going to say that. That really hurts a child to say that.
I almost started crying. Like,
I almost did too.
Like, for real. I was like, don't cry, because I didn't want to mess up my eyeliner. But I was like, oh God, it was.
Yeah, no, I really believed him. I'm glad they, you know, at that point made amends for that moment.
Or did
you know,
they?
At least, you know, I'll just say for that moment. Because we don't know what happened afterwards. But for that moment, it seemed that they made amends. And I do like that. Because I think families should be together. I don't think there should be bickering with families at all. I appreciate the family I have. And I see these crazy things that go on. So I appreciate them even more. Hallelujah. Praise them.
I just have one question. Okay, go
with
ahead.
him not being the favorite son, like, I feel like that's just going to take some time to work through.
Oh, absolutely.
Even with him and Wayne.
Absolutely.
Like,
counseling.
Right.
Not Pastor Cheney. Right. And he need to go too.
Cheney needs to hang out with his brother.
Well, I think it was good. And he went to the studio and he said, I'm here to spend time with you. I had to declare it, which I was like, come on, just show up. Right. You know, I'm here. Like, you know, it was like, okay, thanks. We appreciate it. You know, right. Oh, it's 30 minutes. You got 20 minutes. Right, exactly. I'm out. Bible study. Right. So I do think that he saw some things in this particular episode that he needs to change for himself. You know, he's a, you know, pastor and he's doing his thing, but he's not perfect as well. And there are things that are going on with his family.
Absolutely.
And I can't remember who it was that said this. One of the pastors said this, but it might have been the Hayslips, but you can be preaching to the world, but your own family's in trouble. And how does that look? Right. You know? So I definitely think he learned some things, and I think, you know, everybody learned some things, but I think it was one of those things that needed to happen. And, you know, and Maisha's happy that her mother-in-law's gone.
She's like, I got my house back. Holla.
Cracking.
And I want to say this, and this is like kind of off the subject, but back to Wayne and Maisha. Like, Maisha, you not going to be outside jogging with your weave and not have it wrapped up or in a ponytail. Girl, I was like, this 2-second jog. Have a seat. Full makeup, honey. She wasn't even like, no sweat, no glisten. I was like, no, sister. Go outside and run like that. Except FloJo. Rest in peace. But she was a professional, a trained athlete. Anyways,
that was a little distracting.
Yeah,
I was like, how you gonna be running like that?
Right.
You ain't sweating, your hair is fine, your makeup.
And she just was like, oh, honey, let me give you advice. look, this hair. Girl, bye.
You know what? Don't hate on Maisha.
Do it, girl. If you can be fabulous and jog.
I just don't look like that, and I run.
Right.
Just saying.
Just saying.
I don't look like that. So.
Right. Well, like I said, you guys know better than me. I'll leave that to you. If you say it should have been, then I'll be like, okay, there it is.
A makeup and hair person jogging right behind
you.
Wait. Oh my gosh, hilarious. All right, so let's talk about Bishop Noel Jones and Loretta. This was also an interesting series of one event really that happened. It was Loretta's birthday.
Oh gosh.
And she didn't ask, but basically told Bishop Jones that you're throwing me a party, and what is going to be my gift, because I need to know. And he's like, well, you know, I'm gonna throw you a party, okay, but let me pick the gift. No, I want to pick it for myself. Like, she was very demanding.
She wanted to pick the gift,
pick
her cake, pick her decor, pick her table settings, her seat covers.
Right.
I need you to write a check for this, and this.
And I'm going to have it at your house so everyone can think that we're in this relationship.
Now, okay.
Like I do.
So
like I think we're in this relationship.
So she kind of, but she kind of was checked, and you know, I mean,
not kinda.
Well, yeah.
Pie
there was
in
no,
face, honey.
I was trying to, I was trying to be
checked?
nice. Well, okay, so
you said, was she?
I don't, okay, maybe checked is the wrong word, but let's just say she came to a realizing moment because she is living this life
I don't
of
think
being.
she realizes.
No,
Now?
you saw it in her
still don't
face.
think so
I
now?
don't
You
think
saw
she
her
realizes.
face. You didn't see her face.
This has been going on for 16 years.
So they say.
Right. They've been friends for 16
Like
years.
she's been getting this treatment from him.
I don't say, but I don't necessarily, that's true. They've been friends for 16 years. I don't know that they've been this close for 16 years.
Well, why would she
They've been
always
humping.
allude to that?
Oh, gosh,
okay,
here we
he
go.
says that they've
Here we go.
known each other for
They've
17.
been humping.
She says that they've been these close friends for 16 years. Like,
Okay.
I think, yeah, they've been hopping.
They've been humping.
Okay, so-
They've been humping.
Okay, so
Just saying.
my thing is, she definitely, and when she had her talk with Omarosa,
Shout
she
out
went-
Omarosa.
I mean,
She's
Omarosa always is the single girl friend who's giving her all this bad advice.
Right.
I was like, I can't.
she's a pastor.
But she does look good. And I was shocked
Yeah, you
to
didn't know
find
that?
that out.
You didn't know that?
No.
I had already heard that. I heard that she was, leading a church. I think she started off as just like a leader, like a minister in the church, and then now she's like a pastor of a church.
We
I
might
don't.
see her on Preachers of L.A.
Maybe.
Preachers of Detroit.
Well, she's not in Detroit. She's out here. But
Yeah, that
No,
might be a good
I
addition
don't
to
want
the
to
cast.
see
Yeah.
her on Preachers
Instead of
Yeah.
London,
LA.
but anyways.
yeah, I don't know that would work. But anyway, her church isn't big enough. Yeah, let's put it that way. She's not going to be on there. But, she did make an appearance. Her and Loretta supposedly are good friends. So Loretta's talking to her.
Yes.
And Loretta is basically, Omarosa's like, what do you want to get? Oh, it's going to be in a box. And there's going to be I
A
don't know,
black box
a black-
inside of a
Oh,
red
red
box.
box. And Omarosa, you're talking Cartier.
Right.
Okay.
She's like, yes.
She's
I
like,
mean,
yeah.
she
She got a poem
she-
and trust and a cake. Get your life. Get a new man. Okay, Match.com, eHarmony.
Wait. But did you see her face though? She was so disappointed because they were talking afterwards and she's like, I'm disappointed. And he's like, what? I gave you a poem.
I gave you a poem.
I gave you
Came
words.
from my brain.
This-
My brain. I don't want
From
that.
the stars. From
She's
my
like,
brain.
that's not in no box.
I wanted
I
her
don't
to
want your brain.
turn up and clap her
Fellas.
hands in her face.
This is a learning moment for fellas.
Oh, man.
Preach.
Don't ever show up, to this big fabulous occasion with a poem.
Wait, hold
That
on.
you're
Hold on,
throwing
wait.
for me.
A
Time
poem,
out,
A poem.
time
It's like
out.
Hold
giving somebody
on.
a card.
The poet
It's
here.
like,
Okay.
I picked this Hallmark card just for you.
No,
Okay, but
I'm gonna shake that card.
Okay.
I planned my party at your house.
Right.
You better give me what I asked you for. Give me my ring. Get down on your knee.
Okay, so and another thing is funny is that and I think I caught it right. I even rewound it a little bit where he was like, if I drop to my knees,
Yes, he
somebody
did.
catch her.
Why did he
So,
do that? What a
Okay,
jerk.
so that's like
What a
slapping her
jerk.
dead
That's a
in the
slap
face.
in the face.
That's a slap in the face because it's like he knows what she wants and he's like toying with her.
He ran her over with a semi.
He-
Like, serious. And then backed up. Like,
Cement
doop,
truck.
doop,
But you know
doop.
what, guys? Like, I don't feel like his head is where hers is.
No,
because they
no.
started
Because
the way
it doesn't
they
have to be.
started off this season was with a broad statement from her saying, our relationship is in a happy place. I'm satisfied.
Right.
And now here we
She's
are
not
mid-season.
satisfied.
She's still begging for a ring.
Well, I think the whole I'm satisfied thing was just to get the people to stop talking.
Right.
Because, everybody was kind of taking jabs
I.e.
at their
Ron
situation.
Gibson.
Exactly. So it's easy to be like, oh, no, we're good. Like, we're fine. Thank you for your concern. That was just that. But deep down, she and I've said this from day one, she wants to be married to this man. You can see it all in her. And so this party was just another indication. And I think it was almost contrived in the sense to where if I have this party and it's at his house and all of our friends and family are there, he's definitely going to do it. It was almost like trapping him. You see what I'm saying? To basically, like, she wanted to pick everything out. She wanted it to be perfect. And the
her
end
perfect
result was going to be he proposes to her and then everybody will see and da-da-da-da. And then he shows up with a poem, which as a poet, I'm down for poems.
That poem was
but
whack-tastic. Get your life.
the poem wasn't that good.
Get back in your Bible,
The poem was not
Bishop.
that good, but the poem could have been amazing, and it wouldn't have mattered because again, she wanted that ring.
Right.
So my thing is, he knows what she wants. Like, he's not stupid. He's a very intelligent man. He knows what she wants, but he is keeping her at bay.
No, but
at this level.
he don't give a damn. He's like, oh, well, all right. I'm gonna let you have all this and cream in your face. Like I'm not gonna help you
And
out.
I'm gonna write a poem that basically says, "I don't love you, but I trust you."
I trust you, and guess what? Trust is bigger than love, honey.
She didn't hide the disappointment.
No,
at all.
not at
Like,
all.
you know,
No,
she
her
was-
face, even when he was reading the poem, I don't think she smiled.
I was like,
nothing.
I was mad for her.
Right.
I heard an In Vogue track in the back of my mind. No, you're never gonna get it.
Not this time.
Never
Oh
ever
my
gonna get
God.
it.
After 16 years.
I'm like,
You
I'm
guys
starting to believe
are
Ron
trifling.
Gibson. Like, Ron Gibson sees something that she doesn't see yet.
Well, I will say, even though Ron's approach was very abrasive, and I think he was still out of line with some of the things he was saying, I think he sees basically as a pastor, and I think that's his concern. He's a pastor. Noel Jones is a pastor. As a pastor, you can't be having this woman as your friend for 16 years and not be trying to be her husband.
And yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And seal the
yeah.
deal. Like, and that's where he's coming from because, and he's saying like, she's a beautiful woman. She can do this and that. What is your problem? And his thing, and I think Noel Jones, again, he's an older man. He's been married already. He is fine exactly where he is. He does not want his life to change. He knows that once he marries her, he's not going to be able to be free to do the things like travel. You know, he's
Yes,
gonna
he can.
No, he's not.
She
Not like
can
he
go,
does.
too.
What I'm saying is not like, no, not necessarily. All I'm saying is I don't think he'll have the same, he will not, I'll put it that way, have the same freedoms that he has now that he enjoys. Because she is the person, she's almost like a side chick in the sense that when
Too old
he's...
to be a damn side
Why
chick.
buy the cow if you can get the milk for free?
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
My heart just definitely went out to Loretta this episode because, you know, at the start of the season, I was always under the impression that, you know, she had another boo and she was just trying to be on the show. This was her storyline into the show. But this time I was like, okay, she is really hurting for this man.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just made me so sad to watch this, especially when Maisha and Christy were up outside.
And they expected an engagement too.
Yeah,
Right.
because Maisha just came out and said it. No
Right.
filter. I was like,
Right.
dang, Gina.
Oh, when they had their words and everything? Yeah.
And Loretta was
Awkward.
just sitting there with the cake like,
Right.
yeah, I thought so too.
Right.
The cake is great, though. Yeah. I was
You
just
look
like,
good, girl.
dang.
Yeah.
Oh, her green dress was popping.
Yeah. No, I really do. And again, it's going to basically come to the point where she's going to have to step away from the relationship. I'm not saying she shouldn't be friends with this man.
No, you cannot be his friend after
Right.
16 years and he treated you like a carpet.
No, but
Get
what
your
I'm
life.
saying is she doesn't want to be his friend. That's what I'm saying.
I know, but now it's time to go because she knows she's
Right.
never getting
She's
that
she's not.
ring.
No.
He's not getting on that
No.
knee.
Yeah.
And you know what? It just made me upset because I saw him in a different light after this episode. I saw him as a little bit immature. Like
Immature?
yeah.
You think that's immaturity?
When he was sitting there, when she said, you talk about trust, he was like, yes, I trust you. And then she said, well, isn't love better than trust? And why couldn't you just say it?
Well, that was really what she wanted out of the whole thing.
Out of
And
everything.
She confronted him, but she asked a question that made no sense to me. What did she say? Can you trust
someone
without
loving?
love, yeah. She's basically saying,
Yeah,
how
like,
can
I
you
trust
trust
my
me?
coworkers.
I trust
Right.
my politicians.
Right.
That was his
Right.
answer. And then he was like
She's
saying,
like, I'm talking
Later.
about me.
and he's like, I can trust you and not be head over heels for you. I don't think he meant to
He
say
was like,
that.
I'm not in love with and
Right.
not be in love with you.
Basically.
I'm not in, and then he
That's what
another
he
dagger.
said.
I'm
Yeah.
not in love with you, but I have love for you.
I'm not head over heels.
He said 16 years. Of course, I have love for you.
Honey, he's
I'm not your
just
puppy.
not that into
Oh, honey,
No.
read that. Read the book.
But I will say,
Seriously.
it's not like he is...
So sad.
He's basically put it out there. Like if he never put it out there
jerk.
enough, he put it out there enough right now.
Right.
So I think at this point in the game, she has to make a decision. Either if I stay around with this man, this is what I'm going to get. I will
Right.
be his friend. I will be able to hang out with him. We're going to do whatever. We're going to be business partners. And that's it. That's all
Well,
that it's going to be.
Even if she wasn't fishing for a ring, she wanted a declaration of love.
Right.
And he does not ever do that. Like, it's always him here and her behind somewhere trying to catch
Right.
up all the time. That's the nature of their relationship.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, he doesn't want to be put inside a trap. What I'm saying is, if he was to, at that party, if he was to be like, Loretta, I want you to know that I'm in love with you. then there's no going back from that.
Oh, you can't.
Do you see what I'm saying?
That's
There's
true.
no, especially in front of people.
There has to be a ring after that.
Exactly. Because it's like, oh, he's in love with you. You've been together. Oh, then a ring is coming tomorrow in the mail.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I trust you.
Right, exactly. So it's easy to be like, oh, I'm so in trust with you. Like, you see what I'm saying?
I'm in more trust
So
with you in
in
year
trust with you.
16
Right.
than in year 1.
Right.
I
So,
trust you.
Trustworthy.
and so it
Loretta.
was easy to say that because that way he's not entitled to say anything. It's-
Loretta,
What a cop out.
these passes ain't loyal, girl. Get you a new one. Get you a new single one down south. Hallelujah. Want to do it.
Oh, anyway.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Or now.
Oh, yeah. So, speaking of getting at, there's a thing called iTunes that you can get out of a lot of things. And, you know, we're on iTunes. Why don't you tell them about it, Tiff?
Yes, please download, rate, and subscribe to the Preachers of LA podcast and all the AfterBuzz TV podcasts to keep us on, keep us talking, give us things to discuss. If you hear something that you don't like in this conversation or if you want to add to it, leave us comments. We do read them. And we look forward to what you guys have to say.
And rate us 5 stars.
Please, we want 5.
So we're 5-star chicks and dudes.
Yeah.
Holler.
That's how we roll. That's how we roll.
Damn.
So, we mentioned him earlier, Pastor Ron Gibson.
Gibbies.
He also had, I won't say he had a pivotal moment per se, but I thought he was kind of in his motion of getting the people off the streets. I mean, that's kind of his ministry, you know, working with gangs, getting people off the streets. He actually had a meeting with a guy that was just getting ready to get out of a halfway house, and he wanted to make sure that he was, you know, had a place that he's outside of getting out of that. He was stable, not going to go back to you know, doing what he was doing prior. He was an ex-con. He was actually, he said armed robbery, correct? That he was in jail for 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From 24 to 33.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It's a long time.
But you still have a life ahead of you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And a record.
Yeah.
Right, which is...
I mean,
but what do you do?
into
But
You know,
he's
you
taking
have
the
to.
perfect first step in consulting with his pastor.
Right.
His pastor's arranging for a little internship,
All right,
volunteer
make
in
it
the music
nice.
department.
Exactly.
You know, it's...
And the sound was crisp, as it was said.
it was off the chisel, is what he said. I was
say?
like, you are too old.
Is
Sit
that what
down.
you said? It was crisp. That sound was
It
very
was
tight.
Well, it was just like the way
It's a
it was like.
soundboard.
She said,
like,
"And that
he turned it
sound."
up one time and then he sat down.
But wait, did
No,
you-
they made it look like
but
he was
wait,
up in there
did
zhuzhing. Like,
did you see? But wait,
DJ
check
in
this
the
out.
sermon?
You know, you guys have me like really looking intently at these shows. Like when they kept showing them, it was the same thing
The
looped
same.
over. Like
Right.
they
Yeah,
kept
it
showing the
was.
same scene,
Right.
but it was like shown 3 times.
You are working that
So
sound.
yeah, and he turned like 2 knobs.
Yeah.
So
Shouts out.
So crisp.
What was his name?
and tight. That sound.
I didn't write it down.
Shouts
but
out to the intern.
yeah,
Like,
but
you
the
know.
thing was, you know, it was Wednesday night Bible study. He couldn't even get Sunday service though. He's like, we gonna try you out. Wednesday.
Right.
Right, he got Wednesday Bible study, but
Right.
but the sound was crisp and
It was
what
off the chisel.
Off the chisel.
I
Yeah.
was like,
See,
all
Ron needs to
right,
stop with the slang though.
Ron.
Like he
I like
needs.
it.
No, he's
No,
too old.
he is too old.
He is. Sit
He is
down.
too old.
That's
Have
perfect.
several.
He's
He
a
is.
poet.
No,
He's a
no,
real
he's not.
poet.
Because you
Oh.
trust
And
him.
I trust him.
And he trusts you. Come on, trust.
He is not. He is not a poet.
Yeah,
out
but stop with
at
those
all.
Izzles. Like, didn't that go out in
Yeah.
like 2011?
Maybe 2009.
Okay.
Like
right.
yeah. I think that was dead in
Ron,
09.
stop.
Yeah, he's trying to keep hope alive. He is. But
And
I mean,
that flop top.
He was
Right.
so extra, though.
Yeah.
He was so extra. Okay, so
Right.
then he said he tailored his sermon for the guy because he knew he had to hear him, you know, in the sound booth. Which
Exactly.
was very thoughtful.
I
right.
thought that was great.
And then he came afterwards to, you know, give him a huge, I need you, brother. I need you here every, you know,
Right.
to
For, like,
encourage him
1
to
minute.
keep coming back.
Right.
You know what I mean? 'Cause-
No, and that's good.
yeah, it's
I
crucial
thought that was really good.
because when you get out of jail, you know, the return rate is so high. Like, you have to stay engaged. And, you know, Ron is
Absolutely.
aware of that. And he's like, I need to see you every Wednesday, you know, which is great. So hopefully that works out for him.
Right. I hope so too. I hope so too. There's often casualties when it comes to that, and people don't have direction. So I thought it was good that he did that, and I hope that. And then I think Ron is the perfect man because of his history and background
Right.
to
His
be able
past,
to
yeah.
exactly be able to minister to somebody like that. One thing is that I noticed, and it was said twice by the pastors. They like to have relations. They
What do you mean?
They was you know what I mean.
What am I missing?
I
get a lesson every week.
No, they I mean, they're
They're
open.
relational people.
Yeah, they're very open
They're
about
personable.
like what goes on. Yeah. And it was like I know Maisha said it, and then there was also for Wayne, because they already had a discussion about the whole vasectomy thing before, but
turning it out
way up.
Wayne is 35, strong
right.
like bull.
But it was said again, Ron Gibson and his wife, and I'm thinking
he said, what did he say? He was like, because I did something last night.
Right,
exactly. Like clutching pearl.
That's what I'm. Do you remember that when he was working out? That's what I'm saying.
He was like you weren't saying that last night.
Right.
He was doing that Chuck Norris Total Gym. Yeah. No weights or anything. He was like, oh, baby, you strong.
Right.
He was getting his life too. I was like, but I don't want to hear that. I know that we are all innately we have our attractions.
I need to hear that.
I don't want to hear my pastor talking to.
Well, the thing is,
I'm not talking about
it
it.
Humanizes them for me.
It does humanize them. No, I agree with Tiff. It does humanize them.
Well, I don't want to hear my bishop, my pastor, my deacon, my minister, my ushers, my offering people. I don't want to hear y'all talk about your sexual lives with your mates. I'm not interested.
Gotta keep it sexy.
Right.
It's a TV show.
I think too. And this is just a Lem theory. Nothing behind it. I think that also because scripturally, they said, "Don't look at me like that."
What are you?
Can we look at? She gave me the gas face. What you about to say now? Scripture. Breaking out scriptures in a show that has to do with preachers. How dare you? Anyway, as I was about to say,
shut up.
And I'm paraphrasing, but in the Bible it says that in marriage the bed is undefiled. So meaning that you're free to have relations with your mate, and your partner, no problem, without any guilt or anything that comes associated with not being married. So I think
I get
by
that,
saying
but I don't
these
want to
things,
hear it. Especially if you are my pastor giving me communion every first Sunday is all I'm saying.
Okay.
Well, Wayne did bring it up. Okay, you don't want to hear it. You sit this one out. But
I might have an opinion. Boom. Okay, go.
I was kidding. But Wayne and Maisha talked about it again. It seems like Wayne talks about it a lot. I heard Maisha say in this clip, "You always talking about sex. Always bringing it back to sex."
Right. Yeah, when they were jogging.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I mean. But I think giving my point that they like to talk about it because they know that showing again, this is a TV show,
married.
Exactly, and showing that they can have
married
fun
people do
and
this.
still exactly all the time apparently with them. So
married preachers.
Yeah. Just saying. So that's all I'm saying about that. Just something I saw pointing out on this particular episode. It came out, in two separate occasions. So anyway, Tiff, you said that you have some news and
we
gossip.
got some news.
So let's do that right now.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
What we got? Nothing. Yeah, there we go. So I usually don't like to draw negative attention to my home state of Alabama, but I can't ignore this news. So an Alabama pastor in Montgomery, during one of his sermons in mid-September, announced to the audience that he had AIDS, and that he also, in sermons to come, he had announced that he had adultery with people in the church, and that he had also infected a few ladies, knowingly infected them in the church.
Wow.
And so at that point, he also said that he wasn't stepping down.
He was not stepping down.
Yeah, he wasn't
And
gonna.
this is his church.
This is his church.
Okay.
His name is Juan McFarland, and it's crazy. They had to change the locks on the doors, and a few of the members felt like he might shoot them if they, tried to forcefully remove him from the church. And so he's kind of in hiding right now. Because it is a crime to give people.
Knowingly.
But it's only a misdemeanor.
No,
it's only a misdemeanor?
In Montgomery, yes.
Oh, in Alabama.
In the South.
And right.
But yeah, it's crazy. What happens now? I saw a news report, and the people were saying they just want to rebuild the church. They want to get past this as soon as possible. I mean, that's devastating. And he also admitted to misusing money and also drug use.
So he was all the way left.
And
He was all the way
had
left.
sex in the church.
In the church building.
The church building. Where do you go from there?
Wow.
to hell.
He obviously
Like, I don't like.
he obviously has multiple issues.
Oh my
obviously.
God.
So
That's
how
really
did the
sad.
story even come out? Did women come forward and then
No, he announced
just
it
said
at church.
Like, this is what's been going
This is
on.
what's been happening in my life. I think he's kind of,
Oh, he was like in service, like giving like a testimony type thing. Or?
Yeah, he just, brought it out in his sermon. Like, this, I have AIDS. This is what happened.
I gotta.
Which is crazy. Can you imagine going to that church?
No.
Looking up to that pastor for all those years,
then
over
find
10
out.
years. They've been the pastor of that church. And, I've been having sex with people here. I gave them AIDS. I've been doing drugs.
And
I'm not going anywhere.
He put all this out there and then said, "I'm not leaving."
Yeah.
I am floored. Like,
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
Truth
I think
is
it's
stranger
just.
than fiction.
Well, I mean, it's like, I mean, being a pastor is a position of authority, obviously,
that's
and I think that there are
sad.
people, unfortunately, that abuse that authority. It's just like people in other leadership positions, whether you're a senator or in government or a boss, at a company. People misuse their power and they take advantage of people that are beneath them or what have you. He obviously just went way left in his abuse.
That is so sad.
And that's very sad.
and
That's
has
very sad.
infected multiple
Right.
women with HIV.
Yeah, and he's been the pastor since 1990.
Oh, gosh.
1990?
Yeah.
So he way back.
Way
Just wrap
back.
it up,
Way
women.
back.
Wear condoms.
Stop
if you're gonna
having
be
sex
doing that.
inside the church.
Yeah, that's
Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
And don't give people diseases.
Yeah.
And don't have all these people following you when you're so left.
yeah. It's one of those things, and I hate it
So sad.
as a Christian that that comes to that, because then people who are not Christian a lot of times will be like, oh, see, everybody in church is messed up, and they kind of use that, which is not the case.
Guilty.
It's a small
I've done
minority,
that.
of people, but unfortunately, the minority people is what gets exploited and put out there, and that's the world we live in. So
That is so sad. I'm
it is sad.
devastated.
Yeah, that's very sad. Prayers go out to that ministry and the people there.
Disgusting.
Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church. Good luck,
Shiloh
you guys.
All right, let's get into predictions. Let's do it.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So my prediction every week is McClendon is not going to be here. But I
know
did
he is.
right.
Yep.
Deidre was not in this episode, which I thought was interesting.
That was
and-
refreshing.
yeah.
I miss when
Were
he's
you
not
tired?
there.
He's really funny, but he's too much.
He is over the top.
He's a little
He's
much.
definitely over the top.
I like him.
I just assumed because he's the executive producer, he's like, I'm in every episode. I mean, that's my assumption.
I mean,
but
he was also filming for that other show.
He
That's
was
true.
also featured
That
the last
corny
2 episodes.
I mean, that choir show, not corny show, but choir show.
right.
choir show.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, interesting about that. Spinoff, kind of, sort of. Because I mean, and the only reason why I say that is because in the previews they show Destiny's Child, former
Yeah.
Destiny's Child member
Michelle Williams.
Michelle Williams.
Shell.
Your namesake.
Yeah.
That is going to be in the next episode. So that's why I say
Oh, yeah.
it's interesting that she's going to be in there, and then this choir show with
Yeah.
both of them is going to
Promo.
be coming up. Hey,
Yeah.
it's TV.
It's marketing.
It's TV. So, Tiff, what is your prediction?
Well, we
going
did
forward?
see Loretta in tears finally confronting the issue with Gibson.
Yes.
So I'm interested in how that's going to play out. But I feel like Ron Gibson is so headstrong that he's not going to step down from his beliefs. And why should he? We've all been shown that that man is not going to marry her. So I
He's
think
just gonna
maybe the
trust
least
her.
that he could do is apologize.
Apologize to Loretta.
Gibson apologized to Loretta. That's what I'm hoping to see next episode.
Do you really think that's going to happen?
Maybe he should,
Okay.
right?
What about you, Corrinne?
Ooh, I think I agree with this. I think that Ron Gibson will finally apologize to Loretta because she shows a level of weakness. I mean, not really, but she just shows vulnerability when she cries. Another prediction I have is McClendon. I think that his daughter might have choice words for him.
Yes.
And so I'm kind of excited about that because this is the first time that we see the daughter.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
I was like, oh, that's the daughter?
exactly.
It's the first time
I
we
got
get
it.
to see anything of his past, really.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe
Kind
we
of
get
suffering.
to scratch the surface on him because in 2 seasons, I feel like we still don't know anything about him.
Because we don't.
No.
So
you're
maybe
exactly
we
right.
get to know something else about McClendon.
Well, my hope, and then I'll just go right into my prediction. My hope is that with that situation with the daughter coming forward saying she's getting married, and he says he finds out on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Yeah. So I think that hopefully that, just like the Cheney situation, kind of deals with a bigger issue, and he's able to deal with that, because it sounds like if that's the case, she didn't have, you know, and this is her father, she didn't want to tell him. There's obviously something going on between them. And we know that, you know, he did divorce their mother and supposedly got married. I read about this, that 7 days later to his wife now, Priscilla, I believe is her name. So, but, you know, so he got a lot of flack about that. And of course, he was like, oh, no, I didn't commit any adultery and anything, blah, blah, blah. But 7 days later, you know, in a private ceremony. So, but I think, I think it will, I hope, I'll put it like that, I hope it does kind of bring some light, and just, and he needs, you know, some human aspects to him, because he's been floating on clouds for a minute, you know, and kind of untouchable, whether it's, you know, the way they've been editing the show, or this is what his desire was in his contract, I don't know. But I think it'll be, well, I'm not saying good to see drama, but it's, you know,
it'll be good to see the drama.
I mean, I'm just saying that to see something about him, because everybody else has kind of put out their stuff.
Absolutely.
So, you know, if he's going to be on the show, happen to him as well.
Yeah, so maybe the
because
daughter
some
will,
stuff is out there.
Yeah, daughter, keep it real.
Let's keep it real. All right, well, that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we want to thank you for tuning in, as you always are. Please continue to comment on YouTube. We will definitely answer back. My name, again, is Lem Gonsalves, Lem for short. You can find me at The Poet Saint, and that's on Instagram and Twitter. Where can they find you guys?
You can find me on Twitter at Tiff's Tweets, that's with a Z.
Oh, and you can find me on Twitter at JustSaying08 and on Instagram at JustSaying1908.
Word. Is that when you're born? Or that's
Try it.
Oh, shoot. I'm just saying. Y'all, thank you so much. Have a good night.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.